Welcome back, everybody, to our weekly energy update for energetically sensitives and empaths. My name is bryndis, and I'm going to guide you through your self-healing journey here for this next week, May 4th till 11th, 2019. This is week 19, although energies don't really work according to calendar days. I'm trying to give you a weekly update of collective energies and how they may or may not affect you. Last week was one of those weeks where it was actually really helpful to understand how collective energies can affect your personal energy. I don't know about you guys, but one of the reasons why I do this live is to get your guys' comments and also your recommendations. I really want you guys to help each other out, to share what worked for you, what you found out about this, and how to best deal with this. I'm going to share a little bit about myself too, but last week's journey was quite something. So let me know where you're from, let me know how you're doing, and what you would recommend to get through some of these physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, energetic symptoms that you are experiencing as energetically sensitive. All right, so you see the barometer here on Instagram. You can't see this, but on Facebook you can see the barometer here on slightly orange. So a little bit better compared to the last 2 weeks. What does this mean? Well, the barometers that I come up with are obviously based on subjective experience. So it measures, I would say, intensity level for us. Okay, so the last 2-3 weeks were really intense, especially last week. And this coming week, it will feel a little less intense, at least internally. Externally, though, what is coming in from the outside is still extremely toxic, is still extremely overwhelming. Okay, and I want to give out a warning here, because whenever we feel just a little bit better about ourselves and we feel like not all the way beaten down and caught in anxiety or self-doubt or whatever it is that is bothering us at that time, that's usually when we start to make mistakes. Okay, and you've heard me say this many times, there are no mistakes, obviously. So it's not about doing the right thing or being afraid of doing the wrong thing, but it's about being smart, choosing your battles wisely, being in the present moment so that you don't accidentally take on other people's energies, or that you don't, fall prey to, like, say, hype that's coming in from the outside. Okay, right now, our news, guys, no matter where you live in the world, is not a place for information. We all know this already, okay? So we've talked about this in length, and by the way, I've just published the May forecast a few days ago, so to get a slightly bigger picture here of what we're dealing with, just watch the energy forecast for May, because some of the things you may not fully understand when I use certain terms. I've mentioned in there that we are going through a major time of transformation. Yes, everybody's talking about this, but the specifics of this time right now have to do with deconstructing and reconstructing. So taking things apart and putting them back together. It's like rebirth, it's like the cycle of life to a degree. But it requires us, since we're not going to die, it requires us to form more sophisticated tools to deal with all of this, especially emotional resilience. And this is actually very interesting. A couple of days ago, I watched a TED Talk, and the professor that was talking, a professor of psychology, she reminded me of something very, very important, and there's a message I want to share with you here. She said, wanting all your feelings, all your sensations, everything, that you experience in life, wanting that to go away, to just go away, and to just trying to opt out, is a death man's wish. That's when we are at our deathbed, okay? That's when we actually die. It is not something that we as living beings, as souls in this physical body need to wish for or make our goal. If we do so, then we are already committing our energy to life-degrading, perhaps even life-destructive energies, and often this leads to darkness. So I talked a lot about darkness here in these last weeks, because when we get caught in our inner darkness, it's really important to understand that it's not because the world is out there to get you, or because the world is so bad. The world has always been the way it is, okay? Compared to what it was like 2,000 years, actually much better, okay? But just because we are starting to see all these things now doesn't mean they weren't there before, okay? So this is actually something to celebrate right now. Truth is being revealed. Is truth already expressing in the way it should? Probably not. Not for us as individuals, and not for the collective. So that means there's still a little bit of kicking and screaming and trying to tweak things a little bit and trying to sugarcoat them and trying to make them look better, okay? If we get caught up in this, okay, and start believing in things, start idolizing things, hang on to our rigid beliefs, to like what party or what religion or what teaching we belong to, guys, we are up for a bad surprise. Because anything that is based on rigid beliefs, on thought and belief structures, is being taken apart right now. And we all have to find our own alignment, I want to call this, all right? How we navigate through this world, through our life, through our journey. And I've called this a self-healing journey in the beginning, because when we begin to awaken, when we begin to become aware of some of these injustices in the world and some of the darkness, the darkness on the outside of us, it can be really frustrating at first and very demotivating, because we recognize how many things already went wrong with ourselves, with the world. How could we treat the planet like this? How could we allow certain things to come this far? What God allows this to happen, all right? And so it questions all our values. And I want you guys to understand that the message here is that through our emotions, through our feelings, through our inner guidance, all our emotions, all our experiences, all our sensations, even thoughts, are helping us to find this alignment to our higher goals, even the mistakes and even the trauma that we go through. So this is really, really important for you to understand here for these events to come in May and in June, and actually, pretty much until the end of this year. This time right now, this week, actually in specific, is foreshadowing for the things that are going to go down towards the end of this year. And these next 6 to 8 weeks are going to be extremely pivotal for a lot of our societal collective changes. So yes, it's not going to be easy. What you're going to feel coming in from the outside, for the most part, is toxic. So I'm here to tell you that there's a lot of things you can do, and you can choose how you experience this, even if you're in the midst of going through physical, or emotional, or relationship, or money crisis. Okay, there's many things that you can do. And as you know, here within transCODES, this is what myself and this whole group of phenomenal energy healers here offer, is to teach you how to self-heal. And this is actually the theme for all year, to really go into this deeper learning, and to go into the deeper aspects, to go into my feelings, to go into my sensations. What is this teaching me? What is this trying to tell me about myself, about my goals, about who I am? There's so many of you out there that question yourself, or that feel no meaning and no purpose in life, and try to find it elsewhere, try to find it in relationships, or with schools, or with, like spiritual schools, or even, groups and so forth. And there's nothing wrong with this. And in fact, we do a lot of group work here as well. But the point is that that which you're seeking, the meaning and the purpose for yourself and who you truly are, can only be found from within. So these inner sensations, your feelings, everything that you are experiencing from within, be it painful at times, be it overwhelming at times, that's your asset. And as an energetically sensitive, as an empath, you have been gifted, because you can feel things way ahead of time, way before they actually latch on energetically and pull you in. Okay? You just need to learn how to calibrate that tool. You don't know how to calibrate this yet because you just feel everything. It's like, you just like undifferentiated, take everything in and believe that it's all yours. And that's the problem with empathy. That's the problem with energetic sensitivity. Okay, and this is why you see so many people like me starting to speak up and trying to give you guys hints and tips on how to do this. There is this, like, whatever you want to call this, first wave of light workers like myself. I'm actually the older generation. I could be a grandmother already. Okay, we have a lot of experience with this. We went through this for the last 20, 30, sometimes even 40 years. And this is my tip for you when you are seeking guidance, when you feel like you want help, then seek those people who have been in this for decades, not the ones that are just awakened, okay? Because there are some things that they can't see yet, not to degrade or to minimize anybody else's experience, okay? So a lot of these deeper aspects of our journey, they come in through wisdom, and that wisdom forms through allowing all experiences as learning experiences, okay? And those of us who are still standing, okay, they have a lot of wisdom for you, okay? Just hinting here at some of the discernment, when it comes to like whom to listen to. Anyways, coming back to the energies of next week, this is going to be a terrible week. I'll, be honest with you guys, as far as like collective stuff is happening. There's disasters, there's, earth stuff. And it's continuing to hammer us, the terrorism, the things that are unleashing here, the craziness in people that is unleashing. Remember, this has always been there, okay? It's just now, through the conditions that we have, through the media that we have, and also how the media treats those events, okay, it just seems so much bigger. So you're going to have to know exactly what to allow in and what not. And the reason why I called this energy update Toxicity is Contagious is to remind you that there are levels of toxicity beyond, just say foods. Okay, I know many of you guys are big on being vegetarian, being vegan and all that. To be honest with you, I mean, I've been vegetarian all my life, and every person that is highly evolved spiritually kind of ends up becoming vegetarian. Maybe not necessarily vegan, because for some people that's not suitable. They need certain aspects of the food that they can only get through, like, say, dairy products. But I don't want to go into this, okay? There are some things here that you need to understand that generally lower your energetic immune system, okay? And we have been talking about this for ages now, that there's emotional toxicity, and you all know this. You all know what that's like to be in an emotionally toxic relationship, or meeting people who are energetic vampires, or going through this narcissistic abuse syndrome. Okay. This is not the point. Besides emotional toxicity, which I'll be honest with you, as an energy healer, I work with people every day. The majority of that toxicity actually originates within you, okay? Unknowingly, unconsciously, which is another reason why you have to learn how to read your energies better and how to control that better. And besides that, there's, of course, nutritional toxicity. So dehydration is one of the main causes for anxiety, guys. And if you don't drink enough water, okay, then forget about what you eat. That's pretty much how simple that is. The second biggest problem in nutrition is not whether you eat animal products. That's an energetic or spiritual problem, for those who are very sensitive. But what it really is like, how well is your body prepared to actually absorb nutrients? Another aspect is your overall composition, you know, of micronutrients. Okay, so a lot of empaths, a lot of energetically sensitives have magnesium and potassium deficiencies. Okay, then another thing is the sugar that you consume. I mean, there's this ad out on YouTube, right, that beer and French fries are vegan too. Okay, this rigid veganism is a very good example for toxicity, because just because it's vegan doesn't make it good for you. Okay, so you're gonna have to like really go a little deeper into this. And sugar coming in, not just the kind of sugar that comes in through eating a whole fruit. Okay, whole fruit comes with sugar and lots of pulp and lots of fibers that lower the glycemic index, so that's not the problem. It's the sugars hidden in all these packaged and pre-made foods. Okay, sugar is one of the deadliest excitotoxin, neurotoxin for our system, for our physical immune system, for our emotional immune system, for our mental immune system, our neurology, and for our energetic immune system. So these are things that are way more important if you're asking me. And I used to do nutritional counseling 20 years ago. Okay, so trust me, you know, these things are more important. Staying away, obviously, from substances such as, you know, meds. Sometimes meds, you have to take meds, okay, to get past something, you know, to just get you out of the slump. But when it comes to like alcohol, yes, smoking pot is not good for you. I've said this many times. There's a Heart Warrior radio episode about this. There's lots of videos where I talk about this, guys. This is a con job, okay? A con job into making it more attractive to you to numb yourself. And numbing is what I mentioned in the beginning. It's the deaf man's wish to make things go away. That's not an expression of love. That's not an expression of your light. That's not an expression of who you truly are. You didn't come here to make life go away. Okay? Remember what this does. This is toxic because it attracts darkness into your life. I think there are technical difficulties with Facebook, so those of you who've been waiting for me on Facebook, I apologize if this didn't work out, but I see you guys on Instagram, so I'm going to focus on you guys. Please ask questions. Please share, you know, things that work for you. As for dealing with the next week, I will strongly recommend you guys to work with water, not just drinking it, also using it as a healing agent. Okay, because it's a very soft, it's a very feminine healing energy, and this is kind of like what we need right now. This is still this whole abuse of power and this suppression of feminine energies within us. All right, and that still needs to be doctored. This still needs to be soothed a bit. If you can, maybe, you know, I mean, I live in Florida. I have pool and hot tub available. I know not all of you do, but, you know, maybe you can sit at a lake or whatever at sunset, or better yet, at a sunrise, and enjoy the energy that comes in through this new dawn, through this new paradigm rising. This next week is pivotal for societal changes, and nothing to worry about. You want to embrace it. But if you want to make your emotions or your feelings and your sensations, if you want to make them go away, you won't be able to embrace these things, and you won't be able to read your own inner signals, your own inner guidance that can help you to find your alignment and who you truly are and give meaning and purpose to your life. Because that comes in through your feelings, through your experiences, through your emotions, your positive and negative emotions. Guys, there is no such thing as positive or negative emotions. You know, there is, of course, a positive or negative interpretation of that. That's your ego, that's your mind that does that. Oh, I don't like pain. I don't want pain. Sadness is bad. That's not true. Every study has shown that facing pain, facing fear, facing things that challenge you produces emotional resilience, and emotional resilience is the number one factor for happiness. So what makes a person happy is not the avoidance of all that. What makes a person happy is the experience of being able to overcome it and to get stronger through it. Okay? with every energy update, I give away tickets for ongoing energy sessions. And this week I'm giving away 3 tickets for those who would like to explore what addressing your own codependency aspects could be like. Okay, on Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Florida time, that is in the late afternoon in Europe, that is in the late evening in Australia. We have the codependency healing transmission going on, and I'm giving away 3 tickets for this. Just type in, I am no longer afraid to feel myself. And that will make you win a ticket to this energy session. It's a very beautiful energy process. So in these processes, the energy coaches sit on the other side, read your energy, and then reflect it back to you after the session in the form. So I am no longer afraid of feeling myself. If you type this in the comments here on Instagram, on Facebook later, or YouTube, then you can win one of the 3 tickets for the session going on Saturday morning here in Florida. If you are in severe stress right now, energetically, emotionally, physically, whatever, we have the monthly remote prayer session tomorrow for anybody in need. That's a free energy healing session. Please come to the remote prayer session Friday, the 3rd of May at 8 p.m. Florida time. That is like really in the middle of the night in Europe and early in the morning in Australia. It's free for everybody. And if you would like to go a little farther, then maybe consider coming to Iceland. We only have 6 places left. All right, so there's not much time. It's the biggest event here at transCODES every year, maybe not in numbers, but in energetic impact. We construct them so that we have enough time to work with each and every one of you individually, because we go through all these different layers of our energetic sensitivity, energetic learning and integration, and self-healing. All right. This concludes my energy update. I'm going to record the energy tips now, and there I'm going to talk about what it's like to get a 3rd chakra attack, which is what happened last week. All right, so the energy tips this week are going to be really cool. Thank you everybody for coming. Thank you everybody for contributing, for commenting. Thank you for sending hearts. I'm going to see you next week. Stay centered, guys. Stay calm. Bye-bye.